Everyone, and welcome to the March 19th, 2023 meeting of the Auburn School Committee. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Start with introductions to my right, please.
Dan Poisson, Ward 5.
Clarissa Perez Armendariz, Ward 1.
Pamela Hart, Ward 2.
Karen Matthew, Ward 3.
Connie Brown, Superintendent.
Pat Gaudier at large.
Pamela Albert at large.
Jason Lebeck, Mayor.
Jillian Dumais, Student Representative.
Mark Conrad, Business Manager.
Sue Doris, Assistant Superintendent.
All right, welcome everyone. Gabriel Despero, Student Rep, has an excused absence this evening, as well as Brian Belknap, Ward 4, also has an excused absence this evening. So that means school committee members, Brian's usually up on it to be the first one out of the gate to make the motion. So if anyone else wants to pick up that job he usually does, that'd be great. All right, first item on the agenda is the approval of tonight's agenda, including the minutes from the April 5th, 2023 meeting. Do I have a motion? See?
So moved.
Thank you.
So moved.
You have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Clarissa. Questions, comments on that one? All right, call the vote. All those in favor? Great, motion passes. Thank you. Public participation. I'll open it up to public participation. Anyone in the public like to come address the school committee this evening on, we will have a full budget public hearing. So this is something that it does not budget related, I believe. Yes, not budget related. Okay, I'll open it up in just a second. Is this anyone for non-budget related? Okay, I'll close public participation and we will have the presentation of the public hearing for the 23-24 Auburn School Department budget hearings. School committee members, you have as part of your packet, you had the memo with the revised additional debt services, as well as, so I want to publicly state, so we are here this evening for the public hearing. Right now at this point, the superintendent's proposed operating budget for the 23-24 Auburn School Department is $59,071,289. The increase on the mill rate for education is 29 cents. Locally raised increase is $625,821, or 3.3%. Overall budget increase includes state and local debt services for the new Edward Little High School at $3.3 million, roughly. So with that being said, now I will open it up to the public for budget conversation. So come right on up, please. All right. Hi, welcome.
Good evening, school council members, Superintendent Brown, and Mayor Levesque. My name is Jen Ugly, my first time speaking here. I'm a resident of New Auburn and a proud mom of 2 boys at Walton Elementary School in kindergarten and 3rd grade. I'm also the secretary of our PTO and a substitute teacher at Walton. I do spend quite a lot of time there. I qualify what I'm about to say with all of those things because I believe I have a unique and informed perspective to offer. I've learned from the proposed 2023-24 school budget that Walton is set to lose 4 teaching positions next year, which would mean that kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, and 6th grade would all go down to 1 class per grade, where we've previously had 2 classes. Not only would this increase the class sizes, which puts additional stress on our teachers and students for that matter, but it gives students no options if they would benefit from being in a separate class from siblings or fellow students that they severely conflict with. We at Walton have already had firsthand experience with the consequences of merging 2 classes into 1. At the beginning of this current school year, we lost a 5th grade and a 6th grade teacher to AMS because they were so desperately needed there. We're lucky to have very capable teachers in both of those grades who have risen to the challenge. And I mean challenge, as I was in that packed 5th grade class last Wednesday. They have done an incredible job meeting the educational and emotional needs of their students. But it's difficult enough teaching 1 class, let alone 2 at once. Eliminating 4 additional classroom teachers at Walton next year seems both unfair and unwise. Of course, we'd prefer to keep all 4 of those teaching positions, but probably closest to my heart is that Walton maintains 2 kindergarten teachers next year and keeps those classes small. I've had the privilege of spending a lot of time in kindergarten this year, both substitute teaching and volunteering as a parent, And it has opened my eyes to what a kickstart kindergarten is to a student's entire educational career. I used to think of kindergarten as mostly social integration with a little bit of learning, but it is a whole lot of both. I've seen these kids come in September, many barely knowing their letters, to last week hearing them fluently read an entire book to me and so proud of what they can do. And writing their sight words in more legible handwriting than a lot of adults I know. And there are still 2 more months to go in this school year. The learning curve for kindergarten is so steep, and the basic skills that they get in just this 1 year set them up for all the grades beyond. Investing at the beginning is not only setting them up for success, but also relieving the strain on their future teachers and classmates and the need for continued interventions in years in the future. Now, staffing decisions fall solely on your shoulders as our school board and administration. As a PTO, we can fundraise and fund a lot of enriching experiences for our students, but we cannot provide the teachers and staff who will pour into our kids daily. We depend on you for this. I respectfully ask that you keep the teachers that we need to give our kids their very best chance at continuing to grow as learners and as future citizens of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate you coming to speak with us this evening and knowing that class sizes are near and dear to my heart. So thank you. Would anyone else like to come speak to the school committee this evening regarding budget? All right, seeing none, that was our public hearing, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on, I am looking to our student school committee. No reports this evening. Oh, Abby also has an excused absence this evening. That's right. I forgot to include Abby in that. Superintendent's report. Dr. Brown.
Nothing this evening for you.
Okay. We do have included in your packet, school committee members, is the master plan, the proposal from Harriman that includes exactly what work will be done as far as taking not just a peek, but an in-depth look at our facilities, our space needs assessments, our enrollment projections, and all schools will be taken a look at. So that is included in your packet this evening. I do not have a chairperson's report. How about Mr. Mayor, City Council update?
Yeah, real quick, there'll be a special City Council budget meeting on Monday, April 24th.
Okay. All right. Our committees, I will say, as far as our committees go, there was the curriculum subcommittee, the agenda. I took a peek at the minutes from April 5th and just sort of wanted to express my, I don't know if the word is excitement or it piqued my interest that the Auburn School Department is just taking a good broad look at our pre-K offerings and making sure that are we offering what we should be offering and maybe opening up the door to extend services and maybe open up the possibility. I got excited reading those minutes. So nothing in stone yet. I'm not saying that. I'm just giving a reaction to those minutes that I think it's a great idea to be looking into the expansion of pre-K. So with that being said, any other questions or comments on any of the other agendas or minutes that were presented? Sure.
I was just wondering for the Harriman, so there's the stuff that's not included.
So you're going back
Yeah,
to
sorry, we didn't-
okay, that's okay. You're going back to the master plan proposal, and your question was what's...
So I know that there's the budget for what is included, but then there's all the stuff that isn't included, and I was just wondering what that usually adds up to.
Those would just be reasonable reimbursement expenses like travel. So we expect they'd be minimal.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Good question. All right, let's moving on to old business. Can I entertain a motion for a second reading and approval of policy AUB EFC, free and reduced price food services? Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Pam. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Pat. Questions, comments on that one? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Motion passes. Thank you. Next is, can I call for motion for a second reading and approval of policy AUB-EFE, competitive food sales? Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Pam. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Pam. Albert. And questions, comments on that one? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Motion passes. Thank you. Next, call for motion for a second reading and approval of policy AUB-EB, environmental and safety programs. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Pam Hart. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Pat. Questions, comments on that one? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Next, I'll call for a vote, second reading and approval of policy AUB-EBAA chemical hazards. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Pam. I love it. Your finger is like right there, just waiting to go. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Clarissa. Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. All right. Any questions, comments on that one? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Motion passes. Next, I'll call for a motion on second reading and approval of policy AUB-EBCA Comprehensive Health and Safety Emergency and Management Plan. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Pam Albert. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Pat. It's like playing family games here. Any questions, comments on that one? I do have. Yeah, just use your button there, buddy.
So this, this policy, does that negate our health and safety committee, or is it just a policy that the health and safety committee will follow, but we will still keep the health and safety committee that we've grown, that we already have?
Yes, we'll still keep the health and safety subcommittee that we have.
Okay, perfect. Any questions, any more questions or comments? All right, seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Great, motion passes. Thank you. Next, I'll call for a motion, second reading and approval of policy AUB-EBCB emergency evacuation drills. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Oh, Pat, I heard you on that one. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Pam Albert. Questions, comments on that one? Yeah, Pam?
So I will approve, obviously, I'm going to approve this policy, but my question is, and I was approached by I was emailed by a few parents about parent notification when a drill is occurring, especially a lockdown drill, just so that they can just prepare their child and just to know what kind of language is going to be used so that they can be more prepared and not as frightened when this happens. But that's something I will discuss with you, and I'll discuss with Mr. Fifield about how we should be doing that. But
So you're talking about the pre-planned, we know this is a pre-planned drill. Yeah.
not the actual occurring,
Yeah.
if something happened. This is just the drill.
Yep. Okay, sounds good. Any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Great, motion passes. Next, moving on, new business. Can I entertain a motion to approve the purchase of a Bobcat steer loader from capital improvement funds at a cost of $76,481,000 and Wegner Music Products through the ELHS construction budget at a cost of $116,868 and 40 cents change. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Pam. Can I have a second? Thank you, Clarissa. Questions, comments on that one? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Motion passes. Yay, Mr. Buzz is getting some Wagner Music Products. Yay. All right, next and last is a motion to approve the purchase of a new telephone system for Edward Little High School to the lower bidder, CMC Tech Group, at a cost of $23,027.90. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Pat. Have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Pam. Questions, comments on that one? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Motion passes. Upcoming meetings are on the agenda. Is there any we need to add on here? Anyone notice anything missing?
So the fundraising committee
Yes.
meeting is also on May 1st at 5 o'clock, so
Okay.
we may have to move that to 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Is the Health and Safety Committee meeting, is it going to be a Zoom or is it going to be in person?
It's going to be a Zoom.
Okay, so also fundraising. So stay tuned. There may be some changes on that one. All right, future agenda items, requests for information. Pam?
I just have a request for information. I'm wondering if we can be refreshed on the classroom sizes for Walton, for those classrooms that are going to be combined, and what the new total students in those classrooms will be.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other requests for information?
I also have a question actually about that. So if a teacher, I know that in the past we've discussed this, that if there are teachers that, like, if we're eliminating positions, those teachers are able to assimilate a different position in the district. Are they, like, if it was a third grade teacher, does a third grade teacher, are they offered something similar, like a third grade position, or are they offered the high school? Like, how does that work, and does seniority play a key in that?
So the contract is pretty clear on the process that we need to follow and how seniority is established. And seniority is the first consideration that we have to give when placing someone who's been displaced by a RIF. After those two things have been met, what we try to do is to get as close as we can to the person's grade. And sometimes it's not the grade that they prefer, but the building. And so when we have options, we go to people and say, these are the options that you have. And right now we have multiple grades that are open to offer to people who may have been displaced by the reductions at Walton.
And the administrator of the building is the one who they can discuss this with.
Yes.
Thank you. Any others? Larissa?
I wanted to know if we could have the language in advance that's going to be on the ballot.
Yes, thank you.
And then just make it really clear. Ballot language is often really unclear.
Yes.
So just to make it really clear what people are
So
voting for.
you're talking about language on the ballot for the abatement removal, not
And yeah, just kind of seeing how is it going to look next to in relation to the school budget, because I think that's a lot of information voters are brilliant, but I still think it's a lot of information.
Yes, yes. And I guess I would also say, and what is our what's our messaging, and how are we getting our messaging out there? How it will impact how that separate abatement ballot vote will impact voters, which it should not. It will not. So thank you for that one. All right. Any others? Okay. Seeing none, I'll call for a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
I was like, yeah,
Second.
I'll hang out if you want me to hang out, but here, want a second? All right, all those in favor? Wonderful, thank you all. Motion passes. Meeting adjourned, 6:17. Pam, Pat did it, Pam